Hello everybody, how you doing? Good morning. This is Kaylana, the bus driver here. It is very early this morning, so I'm out and about. And so today I wanted to talk about topic number 3 in regards to how to start your own delivery, food delivery, courier, or rideshare business, okay? And so the third topic I wanted to discuss is you have to know your competitors. That's number 3, okay? So you've seen number 1, you've seen number 2, but this is number 3. So you have to know who your competitors are, and basically you have to study their services and their products and things like that, okay? And so with that being said, this probably means you have to go on the website, and also you have to take a look at their app, if they have an app, because a lot of these companies, some of them don't have apps. You know, they just do services, locally. So it's not really broad-based or anything like that. And so that's very important. Now, I'm not saying copy them, but just kind of study what they do. And even if maybe they have like a newsletter or something like that, you can sign up for the newsletter and things like that, kind of, to see how they operate, how they run, how they treat their customers, some of the services that they offer and things like that. Because with this type of industry, of course, there's going to be some competition, and dealing with larger corporations and dealing with larger companies like this, there is going to be a lot of competition. Now, say, for instance, if you wanted to start your own rideshare business, I'm just using this as an example, you have to deal with your competitors that are very well known and services that people use, for instance, Uber and Lyft. And those are probably like the main ones at this point. Now, there are some other ones that are more localized, but they're growing, such as I think it's CJ and Go. And the cool thing about CJ and Go is that they are geared towards women. So they only hire women rideshare drivers, and they only pick up women passengers, which is great. So that's their target audience. Their target audience are women or females. And so that's something to think about. I'm not saying be discriminatory, but there are female passengers who prefer to only ride with a female driver, and that makes sense, and there's nothing wrong with that. And so I would say that's, with CJ and Go, Uber and Lyft will probably be a competitor, but they may have a more competitive edge dealing with female drivers and passengers because that is who they cater to, okay? And so also when it comes to food delivery or grocery, well, actually, I'll say grocery delivery for now. Like when it comes to grocery delivery, there are many companies out there that do grocery delivery, okay? And so, of course, the main dog right now is Instacart. And then you have Shipt, and then there's some of the other ones, but I'm talking about local grocery delivery as far as, you having your own personal shopper. Now, there are other grocery delivery companies, but they're not like, Instacart or Shipt or some of the other ones. For instance, like Peapod, Blue Apron, I think, that delivers food, and Thrive. Thrive is very popular. I actually like them. I think Amazon Fresh still does it, I think. I'm not quite sure. And there are some of the other ones that I'm sure that you guys know about, but when it comes to their services, they don't necessarily have a personal shopper, someone going to a grocery store and shopping for their food for them, and also where you can communicate with the shopper at the same time, versus Instacart and Shipt and some of the other ones, they have that, okay? And so that is the competition between some of them. You have customers that may want a personal shopper, and I think that that's probably one of the reasons why Instacart is so successful, kind of, is that, there's personal shoppers, and so they're able to get people to shop for them and even change items as they shop, whereas some of the other localized grocery delivery companies may not necessarily do that. And I have done my research, and some of them don't, and it makes sense in a way, because it can be kind of tedious when a customer orders something and then they want you to change it at the last minute. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, because they may say, hey, this product may not work for me, or, we got the wrong amount, or whatever the case may be. But when they start adding on stuff, it's gonna actually increase the price of, the sale. And so there's other factors that go into that. And so I think that when you have to study your competitors, you're able to get more insight on how to run your own business and stuff like that. And so like I said, you're not stealing anybody's ideas, you're not copying them, but you're just kind of seeing how they work, okay? And even, for instance, social media, there are tons of social media platforms out there, but everybody may not use the same platform. Some people, I would say the majority of people are on Facebook, and then some people aren't. Like, I know people that refuses to use social media. Like, they're like, I'm not on Instagram, I'm not on Facebook, I'm on none of them. But there are some who prefer a particular social media platform than others, and that's okay. And for instance, like this is on YouTube. Now, there are other alternatives to YouTube. Like, there is one that specifically caters to Christians, which is called GodTube. Very similar concept, but they only specifically have Christian videos and Christian content. And so the videos, it's a social media platform, but it's only catered to Christian people, And so that's one thing you have to think about is, when you study your competitors, you have to also think about what you want to do and how you want to cater your customers and some of the services that you want to offer. And also as you're studying your competitors, see, are they localized? Are they specifically locally in one area, or are they broad-based into different states, And so, for instance, like Instacart and Shipped, and I know I mainly use those, but I'm referring to this particular type of industry. And even like with Uber, they are abroad, they're all over the world and stuff. And so, they're not just like one localized rideshare company, because I do know people personally that have their own rideshare business right here in Central Florida. Like, they have their own, it's not, I wouldn't say rideshare, but it's kind of like rideshare. Like, they basically drive people around and pick people up. And even the guy that I know, he has an app. And so I'm not going to go into detail about that, but there are people that do that. And so there's nothing wrong with that. And so he has his license, he's licensed, he's insured, he's bonded, he's all that. And so this is something to think about as well. He wants to just cater to people here in Florida, Central Florida. And he also drives out of state sometimes, depending on where the client wants to go. But that is what he chose to do. And he studied the competitors. He was on the platform for a while, and now he has his own business. He's not taking anybody's customers or anything like that, but he has a specific target audience that he's looking at, and he was able to be very successful from that. And so these are some things you got to think about when you're getting into this type of industry, is how far do you want to go? Is it going to be localized just in your specific area or region? Or are you going to actually try to broaden your horizons and have it to be where it's more expanded into different states or different cities, or maybe even different countries and stuff? So that's one thing to think about. And so also when you look at your competitors, look at how long they've been in business, and just study their setup, even their website, because website design is very important. And I'm saying that as a web designer, because you have to make sure that your website is very catchy, it's very clean, professional. And actually, that's going to be another point I'm going to talk about later on in some of the videos, is about web design. And so, also look at the company's logo. That's important. Like, look at your competitor's logo. Is it simple? Is it clean? You don't want something that's all over the place and that looks like it was handmade, and so that will give you also a competitive edge. Also, when you're researching your competitors, look at who they've partnered with. Like, a lot of these rideshare, food delivery, and grocery delivery companies have partnered with other businesses in order to get them business. For instance, like, there's other companies that support them. Okay, basically is what I'm saying. And so with that being said, for instance, like with Instacart, have partnered with many different grocery stores. Okay. And so they have partnered with Publix, they partner with Costco, and I'm going to talk about the grocery stores in my area, in my state. Now, some of you guys have different stores. I think they partner with Kroger. There's so many of them, y'all. And so I can go on and on. And, and for instance, Postmates is getting into grocery delivery now. They haven't expanded too much. It's only like in a few cities and states. And so they're just testing out their waters. And they partner with, Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's is like one of my favorite stores to go shop at. And so, but they were able to get that partnership with Postmates because, Instacart messed that up. From what I hear, one of the shoppers was at Trader Joe's acting up. It was something going on. And so they ended their business with them. And so, but anyway, that's one thing to look at is, look at some of the ups and downs that some of your competitors may go through. Is there any controversy? Are there any scandals? Are there any situations where you feel like, you would be able to do a lot better than them because they lack in a certain area, and it's not nothing to gloat about, but there's always competition. And I'm talking about healthy competition. I'm not talking about trying to one up somebody, but you know what I mean? And for instance, even cars, like there are tons of different models of cars and makes and models. And so for instance, there's Ford, and then there's Toyota and Hyundai and, Honda, there's Mercedes and BMWs. I mean, there's so many different brands of cars, but you have people that have different tastes. And so they go to what they like. They do their research and they say, hey, this is the type of car I want, because this suits me and this suits my lifestyle and this also suits my family. And so, they look at the competition. And so even though a lot of these manufacturers have different brands and models and even how the car is made, they're still looking at the competition. Okay, well, this car has airbags in all areas, but we may be able to have built-in GPS. I don't know, just whatever. I'm just using this as an example. So anyway, guys, just to sum this up, study your competition, study who these companies are, and even look online at local companies that may do that. Because even with Rideshare, there are local Rideshare companies some of you guys don't even know about. And I know that there's I'm not sure if it's still around, but there's a Black-owned Rideshare company. I think it's called Whip It or Whip something. But they're not really well known, but they're useful. There are other Rideshare companies, even in India, because I know it's like when one person comes out with something in India, then everybody else wants to do it. That's just how they operate for whatever reason. But, and so, it works out for them. And so, some people may not want to use Uber. Some people may not want to use Lyft or any other platform. Maybe they want to use the same driver all the time. And I know that there's other companies like Userve where you can reserve and, book, your ride through the same driver if you're able to do that. But some people just want to use a particular service. Some people like taxis. Some people don't want to use rideshare. They want to use taxis. And so, taxis aren't completely eliminated just yet. And so there's still hope for them, But like I said, you have to know what your audience, who your audience is and what you want to do. You have to look at what your competitors are doing and just study the market. That's really important. And see if there's a need for it, and see if there are things that you're able to offer and things that you're able to do that may give you more of a competitive edge over your competitors and things like that. And also look at the investment, the time, how much money you got to put into it and things like that. So all those things will come into play to make a difference in how successful you will be. Okay. So if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know. Please feel free to shoot me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, if I'm able to. And so I hope this helped you guys. And so get ready for part 4. God bless you.